Well, it's the second day of our hunt. It's about 2:45 in the afternoon right now, and we have devised a master plan for the evening here. Jake's so confident he was trying to get me to put the stupid deer cart in the back of the truck.
It's bad juju.
Put the X-nay on that. We're not going to jinx this deal.
You're pretty superstitious then? I think it's all a bunch of hogwash. I think we should have brought knives and
we have
celebratory drinks. And
whatever. We're going right back to the same spot where Jake and Grant were at last night, the spot we scouted 2 days ago. Jake and Grant saw those bucks stand up last night, basically, in this one little pocket of brush up there.
We're assuming so, at least. Like, they stood up somewhere real close to where they spent all that time.
You guys are going to go in there and try to get right on top of them.
If we don't happen to get a shot, or maybe they're bedded somewhere else or whatever, Warb and Dylan are going to be set up along that trail that they've made that beam line across the open field.
Where they came by you guys at like 80 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You nervous?
Yeah.
I am. Actually, I was more nervous last night, like way more nervous, just because it was the first time. It was like that pre-sports game in high school. That's what it was last night. For whatever reason, I'm more calm tonight than I was last night, and I shouldn't be.
I'm game-faced.
I guess so.
Help me.
Helping the elderly dress himself.
Put it over the hood there. Good.
Yeah, I know what to do. Help you find your dad, Aaron! Thanks! I was just telling Warb in the car, this is Kentucky level confidence as far as going into a spot. Last year when Warb shot that buck in Kentucky, like, we were pretty confident that he was going to get an opportunity at a shot. That's about how we feel about this. Obviously, a lot of things can still go wrong. The conditions are quite a bit different today. Yesterday it was dead calm. It's a little more windy today, so I could see him being bedded in a different spot. The wind is supposed to stay high throughout the night, so we're just going to move up as the night goes on real slow. I think we're just going to glass down in front of us. The wind will be blowing right down the edge of the corn, so we're going to just try not to walk by him is the biggest thing, I think. And hopefully a little buck doesn't come in first, and one of the big ones gives us a shot. Right there's where he was the other day. Yep, big doe. I think they're in here. Let me grab my bow, move up a little bit. We got a doe on her feet already. And there was some does in that same exact spot last night, so things are lining up pretty good so far. I think we're within 30 yards of where we want to be right now. We've been crawling like the last 50 yards probably. That way we're just ready to shoot for one, and there's potential that could be bedded in the corn. I think they're out there. I'm hoping they're out there, but we can see down through the corn when we're low like this. There's this last bush up here that I'm trying to get to, and I think we'll just hang out there until we see them, and then the wind is high enough that if we need to make a move we can. But I think most of the bucks were within range of this bush actually last night at some point, so we're just going to get up here and try to get within range of that and where we can see it.
It's cool.
Hi, Dylan and I made it back here. Right here in these trees behind me is where, actually I think it was in these trees, is where Jake and Grant were set up last night, and they watched those bucks out across there. They're coming in from the opposite side. Pan over there, Dylan, they can show them. They're coming in from that point way over there.
Those bucks should be bedded back here.
They're gonna try to set up right on top of those beds because they're gonna get the wind in their favor and then come up the edge of that corn. And then we are gonna hook around here and set up at that bush that they walked in front of. But we may have to adjust slightly. I wanna get down there and see what the wind's doing. But I'm gonna go ahead and knock an arrow in here. Right here behind me, out there in the field, is the tree that those 3 bucks walked right past last night. Jake and Grant were up there at that tree right there. And right here, I don't know what this vegetation is behind me, but they'd rather not walk through it. And as you can tell right here over my shoulder, there's a little gap, kind of a low gap. That goes down, crosses the creek, and then goes up onto that cut wheat or oat field or canola field or whatever it is. And those bucks walked right through here last night. So I'm gonna go out to their trails. First one's here at 10 yards. Yeah, you're hid so good in there, dude. You're hid really good in there. Yeah. I think this could work, especially if the wind stays up. First trail here is probably 15 yards. Well, I can get set up back there where Dylan is at, and every shot can be inside of 30 yards covering multiple trails. Here's the view from our setup right here. Got those trails right out there in front of me. I'm gonna try to shoot through this little hole. And Dylan is straight behind me. He's gonna film from that tree back there. He's got a better vantage point over the field and we can communicate. He's just close enough that I can hear him. But hopefully, either between us and Jake and Grant, somebody gets a crack at one of these things.
Alright, well Grant and I got set up in this thick little pocket of trees. There's a bunch of tiny little new growth here. We can't trim anything, but we bent all of them around each other and just twisted them so we have a couple little shooting lanes. And where those bucks were feeding last night was right up in front of us here. I don't know, probably all within 30 to 40 yards. You can just see there's a variety of different weeds out there that are growing. And they fed along the edge of the cornfield quite a bit too, which I have a shot right here. Right behind us, there's a bunch of browse in the corn. Probably the most browse that we've seen since crawling in here. We can't see a ton, and we probably aren't going to be able to film a ton, but this is the spot, I think. We were thinking about sitting in the corn, but there's a risk that either a smaller buck is going to walk down the edge of the corn or one of the bigger ones is going to do that. And I think it would just be too close quarters probably for us to get a shot. I think our percentage of getting a shot from this spot is way higher. The wind is blowing straight away from where they were last night, at least the entire time we saw them. And I think we have plenty of cover to hide both of us. So as long as they feed within range of us here, I think we'll be in good shape. It was only about less than an hour from now, I think, when they first got up last night, and the first deer that we saw over here was that really big one. It's good cover scent. They're almost steaming like that thermosol is. You can put them behind you if you want. I just want to be able to sneak if I need to. Those are kind of loud.
Oh, that was a bummer. I thought we were gonna kill something tonight. Maybe Jake and Grant had some luck, I don't know. But my phone hasn't rang yet, so I'm assuming they didn't see much either. That's just crazy. I don't know, would we end up seeing like 6 does and fawns? Something like that. Not a buck one, and they saw like half a dozen bucks in here last night. 3 or 4 of them walked right through here, and they never boogered them or anything getting out, so I'm not really sure what the deal is. I mean, I guess there's a good chance they could have just bedded somewhere else or something for the day. I'm not sure. We got a long walk out, and we got to regroup for the morning. What we've been doing in the mornings is going out and trying to glass bucks, going back to bedding, and then spend the rest of the morning scouting new areas. I can't imagine those bucks have went very far. I mean, they were just in here last night moving naturally, and tonight was really the first night that we went in for the kill, so to speak. So, I don't know, gotta regroup. Long walk back out to the truck. I know that.
Well, we snuck out to the edge of the corn just to see if we could lay eyes on anything. We didn't see a single deer when we got set up tonight. We saw a couple deer on the way in. And then we did have a deer come right down in this bottom ditch below us and start blowing. I'm guessing the bucks were just somewhere else tonight for whatever reason. Might just give this spot a couple days break and come back. I think they'll be back in here. We're gonna head back. Maybe Warb and Dylan ended up seeing them.
All right, guys, as you can tell, we didn't have luck in that particular hunt, but we've been on those bucks again, and there's more of those videos coming up. But to end this particular video, we wanted to discuss what we're using for gear up here in North Dakota.
With this open country style hunting, we wanted to be pretty
Adaptable.
adaptable is the word I was looking for. Pretty much we got everything that we're going to be using this fall really on this trip. That way if we could get into any situation we needed
with
to.
all of these so far.
Yep.
Mainly the ghillie suits, because it's open country and there's not a lot of trees for stands, and like you're trying to get within 30 yards of these deer, so
Yep.
you're having to just brush into a bush like you saw in this video. But we're also taking the saddles a good amount too.
At the same time, with it being so flat and so open, if you can get into a tree like we did that first night,
You can observe
see
a
for
lot.
a couple miles. Like
Yeah.
getting up, all we used was basically 3 sticks, and we got up maybe 12, 13 feet, but we could see so much more from being in that tree.
I would say that the saddle is kind of the all-purpose method that we've been using. We're taking those in if we're not familiar with an area, and we're just diving in the first time.
Because you can just wear it, and then if you end up not finding a tree you want to set up in, you can just sit on the ground and be wearing the saddle.
Yep. And these are the 2 ghillie suits that we've been using. We've also got a brown leafy suit that you've been wearing too. Lots of different colors, but we've seen that they blend in pretty well.
Yeah,
and you can tell this one here, this is our old bush rag, is a lot lighter colored than this one. This is Dylan's that I think he got from Cabela's on sale.
Yeah, he said it was real cheap at Cabela's.
But as you can tell in this video, Dylan is hid extremely well in that light colored vegetation, even with this darker stuff on. I think the trick with the ghillies is that they break up your outline, you know, your shoulders and your head when you tuck down in that cover. And if you're in cover that's waist high, that's plenty.
Yep.
That's enough to keep you hidden really well.
I see that Dave Owens has like a couple different colors, and like he used them for turkey more so, but like he has a couple different colors to kind of match the environment that he's in.
Yep.
And I think this one's probably going to be a little bit better for later in the fall when everything starts to die and you got those lighter and brown colors, but for right now this one's the ticket, I think.
Yeah, it is. They both look good. And that's kind of what we're running right now. I mean, it's not much gear. You're talking about 3 beef sticks to climb, whether you're using a tree stand or the tree saddle.
And I'm only using 2 sticks because I'm scared of heights, and I got one of those aiders on it, and especially early season like this, I mean, you don't need to get that high. There's so much foliage on the trees, and I'm just packing it in the turkey vest, so it all stays within me, and like I can kind of get down and move through stuff easier than I'd say with a tree stand.
Oh yeah, and we've been using these strap hooks too.
Yep.
These are pretty handy when
Yeah,
you get
those
up
are
in the
sweet.
tree.
For public land hunter, I mean, especially with the saddles, because you can just put it right around where your tether goes to the tree, but also like the first night I just had it wrapped around a limb. You just tighten it on there, and my bow was sitting right in front of me, like I could just grab it and pretty much pick it up and shoot right away, and it's not hanging off the tree. You don't have to screw anything in.
Very minimal
Yep.
gear setups for taking to the woods. But that's it. That's what we're running. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We got some good stuff coming to you because we're on them up here. See you later. Somehow.
Helping adjust the elderly again.
Not too tight. Not too tight.